This one from a tournament that is currently going on right now. As you can see, the FIDE World Women's Rapid Chess Championship is happening, and this is just one of those games. This game, of course, between Lu Miaoyi and International Master and Woman Grandmaster Yuliia Osmak of the Ukraine. So you can see her rating 2451, Rapid 2328, and Blitz 2328. But let's go ahead and get right into the chess game. We have pawn to d4 by the Grandmaster and pawn to d5 by Lu Miaoyi. And now pawn to c4, the Queen's Gambit, of course. And Lu Miaoyi declines with pawn to e6. We now have knight to c3 by the Grandmaster. And Lu Miaoyi plays, well, this is only the fourth most common move in the position. She plays pawn to c5. This is the Tarrasch variation of the Queen's Gambit decline, and yeah, a very strong way to go. Tarrasch, an incredible chess player from the early 1900s, late 1800s as well. But we'll go ahead and continue. Pawn captures on d5 by white. And we're in book openings. This has still happened. Even though the Tarrasch variation is a bit rare, this has still happened many hundreds of times in master play. We now have c captures d4 here for black. Lu Miaoyi captures the d4 pawn. And now queen to a4 check by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi blocks in the best way. Bishop to d7, threatening the queen right back. And now we have queen captures pawn. So queen captures on d4. And this has been played by top grandmasters, including Magnus Carlsen and many others at this point. So this is, like I said, these are book moves. We have pawn captures on d5 now by Lu Miaoyi. And the Grandmaster goes ahead and accepts that pawn on d5. Queen captures d5. Now, strongest move in the position, knight to f6, attacking the Grandmaster's queen. Probably not a good idea to capture the pawn, as the bishop could come here, and it just kind of, yeah, your queen's dancing around. So the Grandmaster moves the queen all the way back to d1, although d3 might have been okay as well. We'll go ahead and continue. Queen to d1 was an excellent move in the position nonetheless. We have bishop to c5 by Lu Miaoyi, and now knight to f3 by the Grandmaster. We have knight to c6 by Lu Miaoyi, not castling right away. And now pawn to e3 by the Grandmaster. And again, we're 10 moves in, and this has all been played before. At this point, you know, many hundreds of times by top masters. Lu Miaoyi now castles, and we have bishop to e2 played here. And again, this has been played by Magnus Carlsen, favors this one. He actually played a game against Lee. He played queen to e7, and Lu Miaoyi does the same. We have castles now by white. In the game that Magnus Carlsen played, he actually played knight to e5 here instead, but Lu Miaoyi goes for rook to d8 here instead. Lu Miaoyi plays rook to d8, and this game then has not happened in master play. So, you know, Magnus Carlsen instead moved his knight here. His game went down a different line, although Lu Miaoyi will soon bring her knight to that square. Let's continue with the way things happened on the board. We now have bishop to d2 by the Grandmaster, and this is just an inaccuracy, so it's not like a mistake, but it's just not the strongest move. Strongest move here would have been to get the queen to b1 first, just pressuring that pawn and forcing black to make some decisions. Anyway, we'll continue with what happened on the chessboard. We now do see that knight coming to e5 by Lu Miaoyi. You know, it suggested that a rook to c, so rook a to c8 would be a better first move, but we will continue. We have queen to c2 now by the Grandmaster, connecting the rooks here, so they're nicely connected to each other. Something you'd like to happen. You know, it just makes your position stronger. We have bishop now to c6 by Lu Miaoyi. Now rook A to D1. I say rook A to D1 because he came from A and not from F, but the computer actually would have preferred rook F to D1. So moving the other rook over, just calling this an inaccuracy, say it would have been better to play the other way, but this is not a mistake or anything. We now have rook A to C8 by Lu Miaoyi, strongest move that can be played in the position. And the Grandmaster also finds the strongest move with queen to F5. Knight now back to G6 by Lu Miaoyi. And yeah, this is a mistake. She should have instead captured the knight. That would have been better for Lu Miaoyi. Let's take a look at that variation real quick here. Instead, Lu Miaoyi should have captured the knight on F3. We would have bishop captures back. Bishop captures back on F3 by black. Queen captures bishop on F3 by white. And then bishop to D6 would be best for black. And now pawn to G3 would be okay, as light squared bishops are off the board. And now bishop to E5 would be the best play for black. Bishop back to E1 for white. And now pawn to H6. And continuing to offer rook trade with rook to D2. Bishop now captures on C3. Rook captures rook with check on D8. Rook captures rook on D8 for black. And now bishop captures C3 for white. And yeah, if Lu Miaoyi could have seen this far down the line, she would have realized that this was a pretty good way to go, although I'm not super happy with it, as she is down a point. We'll just go back and see. She's down a point, and you know, she's got the knight versus a pretty nice bishop there. It seems like black is not doing that well in this position. Anyway, this is the position suggested by Stockfish as being better than what Lu Miaoyi could have attained on the board. But let's go back to that now. So Lu Miaoyi played knight to G6, and we will continue. We have bishop back to C1, which is considered an inaccuracy. It would have been better to move the bishop here, but again, just an inaccuracy, so a difference of around a half a point. So we'll continue. We have knight now to E4 by Lu Miaoyi. Again, considered an accuracy. Instead, pawn to A6 being played first would have been better, but we will again continue. We have rook captures rook on D8. You should consider every check and every capture every time you go to move, so this should not have been a surprise. It is the best move in the position by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi collects it with her rook. She plays rook captures D8, and now we have rook to D1 by the Grandmaster, not allowing Lu Miaoyi just to take over the D file. She's got to contest it. We have rook captures rook on D1 by Lu Miaoyi, and now bishop captures rook on D1 by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi picks up the knight on C3. Gonna mess up the pawn structure here, as pawn has to capture back. This is the best possible move for white, but now this is a weakness that could be a problem in the endgame, those pawns not being able to touch each other. And now bishop to E4 by Lu Miaoyi, threatening the queen. Fantastic move. And best move in the position for white is queen to C8 check, as played by the Grandmaster, and Lu Miaoyi plays the strongest response, just dropping her knight back to F8. We now have a blunder. She actually plays knight to D4 here. She plays knight to D4. She should have instead kind of prepared herself for that move. She should have played bishop here first, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that variation real quick here. So instead, she should have played bishop to D2 here. Pawn to B6 would be best for black. Bishop now to B3 for white. Bishop would go back to D6. And now the knight should come to D4. Fantastic outpost, unopposable currently. So, well, I guess she can move her knight into the action if the queen ever gets off the back rank. Then probably bishop back to B7, attacking white's queen. The queen does come off the back rank to G4 would be best for white, and this would have been a better way to play for the Grandmaster. She made a blunder, and this is the way it should have went. But that's not what happened on the chessboard. Let's go back to the actual game as it happened. So this was a blunder by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi quickly captures, which is said to be a brilliant move. You just can't allow that outpost to survive. The Grandmaster captures back, keeping her pawn structure intact here. You know, you want to keep those pawns connected as you can. Of course, this guy's isolated, which is weakness. We have the best move in the position by Lu Miaoyi now. Queen to b4. And pawn to h3 is best in the position as played by the Grandmaster. And Lu Miaoyi plays queen to e1 check. So certainly should not have been any kind of surprise as it was a checking move, best move in the position. We have king to h2 now. And rather than capturing the bishop here, we go queen captures f2, strongest move in the position, directly threatening checkmate right away. Does Lu Miaoyi with that move. And now the best move in the position by the Grandmaster, queen to g4. Lu Miaoyi now attacks the queen with pawn to f5, which is not the best move. Stockfish calls this an inaccuracy. The best move would just be the move the bishop here, but let's continue with what happened on the board. This is a speed chess game, and both players are running low on the clock. Lu Miaoyi a bit lower. She needs more time than I think these rapid time controls give her. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. So we have now bishop to b3 by the Grandmaster, checking the king. This is the best move in the position. Lu Miaoyi gets her king out of check. She moves king to h8. And now we have queen to g3 by the Grandmaster, just trying to diffuse the attack on her king, force a queen trade. Lu Miaoyi does accept. Queen captures on g3, and of course, king captures on g3. And now we have pawn to g5 by Lu Miaoyi, strongest possible move in the position. But the Grandmaster returns with pawn to d5, also the strongest move in the position. Lu Miaoyi now realizes that kings are the strongest on the board, and she activates her king to g7. We now have bishop to b2, of course, as that's going to really limit that king's ability to get into the game. So bishop to g2, strongest move by white, and now king to g6 by Lu Miaoyi. Pawn now to d6 by the Grandmaster, and Lu Miaoyi plays pawn to b4 here. And this is not the best move in the position. Calling this one a mistake. Pawn to a6 instead would have been better, but we're going to go ahead and continue with what happened on the board. The ladies did not have a lot of time on their clock. Again, they're down to 45 and 49 seconds, so we're not going to go into deep analysis on these, as they didn't have that opportunity. So king to f2 now by the Grandmaster, and Lu Miaoyi plays the strongest move, pawn to a5. And now we have bishop to c3 by the Grandmaster. This is the best move in the position. Lu Miaoyi plays pawn to b4 here, which is not the best. You should have instead pushed the other pawn and kicked this bishop out. That would have been slightly better, but let's go ahead and continue with what actually happened on the board. We have bishop to d4 by the Grandmaster, and now Lu Miaoyi plays the strongest move, bishop to c6 by Lu Miaoyi. We have bishop to c4, which is a blunder in the position. She should have actually dropped her bishop over here, just kind of pinning that pawn. But again, we're just going to go ahead and continue with what was on the board because they only have 14 seconds on the clock, or at least Yuliia only has 14 seconds on the clock. Anyway, we have pawn to h5 by Lu Miaoyi. Not the strongest move, probably getting the knight more active would be best, but we'll continue. Pawn to g3 now by the Grandmaster, and yeah, just attacking the pawn here directly might have been a better way to go. Anyway, the engine recommends that move over the Grandmaster's move, but now we do see knight to d7 by Lu Miaoyi, and now pawn to h4 by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi advances her a pawn to a4. And yeah, bringing the knight back is suggested to be a stronger move, but we'll continue. We have king to e2 by the Grandmaster, so she gained a little bit of time on her clock. So these players are playing super quickly as they don't have, yeah, they get 10 seconds each time they move, but they're losing a lot of time. Now have pawn to g4 by Lu Miaoyi, and again, suggesting the knight would be better here. And we have king to d2 by the Grandmaster. Knight now does come to f6 for Lu Miaoyi, best move in the position, and now king to d3 by the Grandmaster. Lu Miaoyi brings her bishop back to d7, seems reasonable, but better would have been just go ahead and lock that king out with bishop here. Just a much stronger move, but difficult to see with such short time controls. Bishop back to e5 now by the Grandmaster, strongest move in the position. And now Lu Miaoyi also finds the strongest move, knight to e4. We have king to d4 by white. Again, strongest move played. Both players trying to activate their kings, of course. And Lu Miaoyi plays knight to d2. We now have bishop to d3 by the Grandmaster. And yeah, she ran out of time. So, little anticlimactic, I suppose, just losing on time. But that's the way it goes in the Rapids. Yeah, Lu Miaoyi wins this game because she ran out of time. Difficult to say who would have won the game. It would have been a completely different game. This is pretty much a draw-ish. You know, if it was classical time controls, it would probably be a draw. You know, if it wasn't classical, if it was classical time controls, though, it would be a completely different game. These players would have played a completely different way, and I think Lu Miaoyi would have easily won. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, please like and subscribe. I'll be doing game reviews every day. I also teach chess online, so I do group and individual classes. You can check my Patreon. I believe that's under member benefits for information on those classes. Please let me know if there is a chess master or rising star who you think is not getting enough attention and you would like to see some of their videos, and perhaps I'll make those since I am doing at least one video a day, sometimes two. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Take care.